And hello, you absolute lovelies. Let's talk all about Predator Badlands with full spoilers. We're going to be diving into the first, second, and third act. We're going to talk about that ending. We're going to talk about some incredible themes. We're going to talk about why this movie is so important to me, but also why this movie shouldn't work, but absolutely does. We're going to be diving into everything with full spoilers. I am so excited to be making this video. I'm so excited to read the comments. Please let me know what you thought of this video, mixing it up, doing a little bit different format. I actually took some notes about some things I want to hit, and I wanted to get this video out ASAP. So usually spoiler videos I give a little bit more time for. So please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this slight tweak of format and what you thought of this film, because this is a spoiler video, so I hope you have seen it. Please, like I said, leave a comment below. Also, while you're pressing buttons, hit that subscription bell. I cover movies, I cover TV, and I cover lots and lots of comic books. This page is from a genre content lens, so I read about 50 comics a week, and I break down my favorite comics every single week right here on this page, hoping to get you into comic books or back into comic books, as well as the biggest movies and TV shows, especially in the genre content lens. So if any of that pop culture goodness sounds good to you, hit the subscription bell and press a like while you're pressing buttons. Let's talk Predator Badlands. Okay, first of all, this is comfortably in my top 10 of the year because it is a movie that I thought shouldn't work. It is a movie that I thought, even while watching it, wasn't for me for the first 10 minutes. I grew up on Predator movies. I love Predator movies. So when the opening 10 minutes, this was a movie where the Predator was kind of weak and in a position of not being an antagonist seemingly at all, and we're humanizing and endearing us to predators. I was so turned off in the beginning, and I was like, man, I love Dan Trachtenberg. I went in with blind faith. I know the marketing is clear that this is a Predator-led film with a synth. I got all of that, but man, this is so not working for me. And then it starts just nailing all the things it needs to do. In that opening act, it goes from being like, okay, we got like kind of a nerdy Predator. I don't think I ever want to, humanize these characters. I don't think I want to make these characters, oh wait, I've always wanted a bad guy-led film. Oh wait, no one actually thinks they're the bad guy. Oh wait, these are characters that hunt and have this code, have this honor, and immediately, as soon as I realized, why do I love Predator comics? Why do I enjoy these characters? In the movies, obviously, they're hunting human beings and they've got to be this terrifying thing. But if you're going to be following them, if you're their POV, they cannot be as one note as just a killing machine. The movie doesn't work if it is just the Predator we know prior, other than if you know the deeper lore and myths and all those things. But I was so in the movie mindset, I was immediately turned off for like 10 minutes, and then that click happened. And then the way they make certain stakes happen, the way they put him in a Rambo position of losing all of his weapons, the way they use an incredible PG-13 rating to make this bloody and violent, but it's synth, so white blood, and it's Predator, so green blood. MPAA, it's only rated R if there's red blood. The way it's so good at manipulating and finding that line of just endearing enough, just broken enough, and then it tells the thing that I think is the most important of all, the story of community making you an alpha. The reason this movie really works for me is Predator 1 is almost counter-programming to this, and that's why at first it didn't work for me, because when it's counter-programming to the thing I love, I'm like, what is happening? But in the 80s, that bro-y energy that I love in that first movie. I love Predator. I love the first Top Gun. I love the new Top Gun too, but I love Lost Boys. I love the 80s bro-y energy of those movies. And Predator's like the alpha of that world. The, pencil pushing quotes and the moments of just raw masculinity and alpha. It's got Jesse Ventura, Arnold, and Carl Weathers in it. This movie is just masculine. That is incredible and important for the 80s. And I do want more of those kind of movies. I don't want that to go away. I want more of them. I think we're missing them. But at the same time, to get that audience, that very bro-y audience, that audience that's in this mindset of, strength is just isolation and protecting yourself and all these things, to realize that alpha is a wolf concept, and the alpha wolf is protecting his pack. Protecting is the thing that makes you a good leader. Protecting is thinking of others. Thinking of others is the thing that makes you strong. And I love the messaging of sensitivity as a strength for the synths, and how being sensitive makes you aware of everything on the planet. All of these things I think other movies try to do, and sometimes successfully, sometimes not. But Adding a sensitivity and a strength is, I think, important, and we're trying to do that. A lot of times it feels pretty heavy-handed. Maybe this feels heavy-handed to others, but we're often trying to humanize strong male figures, but let them cry, let them be emotional, let them be sensitive. It doesn't always work. This movie is taking a hyper-masculine concept, the Predator, and humanizing it in a way that works canonically, but also tells the story that you need in these hyper-masculine roles, that strength is in being vulnerable, being sensitive, all of these things. So I love that dynamic. Once that clicked in, I was all about it. There's also elements of pro-nature and anti-corporation that I adore in this film. This film is a man versus nature story that evolves into the Predator needing to adapt to nature. The Predator itself needing nature to win in these environments, all while this evil this evil blank-faced Weyland Yutani corporation, this literal corporation that replicates these synths that mean nothing to them and give you that cold chill of infinite growth of corporations, which I've loved that Alien has always looked at. The evils of these mega corporations is so obvious. It's the themes of Alien, but to bring it into a Predator being a character that always utilizes its surroundings, that always utilizes nature, that has this Native American sensibility to it, that versus corporation that is Weyland Yutani to build out the world, to combine this Alien versus Predator world. This movie basically gets to be Alien and Predator instead of Alien versus Predator, because the Weyland Yutani corporation are the elements, and that's what we're reversing here. But using nature as a progress, I love as a quasi-hippie, as someone that believes nature is so important, as someone who hates the way we treat our resources, and to see this Predator, who we've seen in these films use nature, but to this level is absolutely beautiful. Also, tying into the community element, tying into the resourcefulness, tying into dependency on others and helping each other. I love that we literally see in the third act the birth of the character to its full form by using the things that was against the character in the first and second act. I love the assemblage of this team. I adore the fact that we've got three leads, the three-person tribe, the clan that is these three characters. All of them have their own generational trauma. And I know that's a buzzword, and I know that's something that people often say. That's my second point. The generational trauma element is so fascinating because they literally use Alien lore and make it a father-son story, a mother-daughter story, a brother-brother story, a sister-sister story, and then the third entity is also a familial story. I adore that both sets, all three sets, are dealing with different dynamics. Now, obviously, you've got abusive father to the ultimate extent with these two brothers, but the brother is supportive. Then you've got abusive mother to these sisters, but the sister is still going with the follow by the rules and do whatever your generation says is the way. So I love that we've got those two dynamics right there, and they both recognize family as important. But then we've got this daughter-mother dynamic that is nature-based, that does totally serve the narrative of the symbiosis of this wonderful relationship between these two. And I love that, the twist, I don't know if it's a twist, but I love the dynamic of that creature that we love, this dog, cat, monkey, alien thing evolving into, its mother, the big evil of the world, the big trophy of the world, this unkillable thing. That totally worked for me. So I loved, if we want to break it down, I love the brother-to-brother dynamic of breaking the generational bullshit of following orders and this is the way of things and this is the only way to be. And I love that, and addressing that in a hyper-masculine set of characters. Then we've got hyper-feminine characters. Literally, mother is what they've called this entity in Weyland Yutani from the beginning, this all-powerful entity that's overhanging. We have that as this system that is to be regulated and listened to, and then the sister is just following orders to the point of being willing to take out its sister. I love that we're looking at all of that with these characters and the importance of being your own person, not just following orders, not just blindly listening to a corporation or your parents just because they say so. I adored all that, and then I also love that we got another little family dynamic with the animals. That really worked for me, and I loved how that tied into even the alpha commentary I was talking about before. That really worked for me. Community element, sensitivity to belonging, anti-isolationist. I think we're living in the most isolated time Technology has kind of gone full circle. Technology brought us together. It brought us out of caves. It brought us into the industrial age and all these things. Now we're into the other side where technology is keeping us at home. So I love a movie that is showing that technology is not always the answer. That is showing that isolating yourself is not the answer. That being alone and strong is actually weakness. And then that ties into the nature of this planet, which is this impossible to survive planet. But once you use those resources to help you instead of hurt others, that all brings it all together. So everything in this is counter-programming. The first Predator is a movie about war and killing and violence. That is just the nature of Predator. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite action movies. This movie is a Predator movie where the actual Predator is about nature and resources and helping and community. And I think bros, especially bros, and this is a video I'm gonna make, I need to make it at some point, but I think masculinity, we're not showing enough sides of it in pop culture anymore. We're only showing the woke, civilized, therapized side, which is an important side. This movie shows that side, but it shows the growth to get to that point. I keep using Human Torch as an example. Johnny Storm needs to be a hothead and then grow up. We only got to meet third act Johnny in Human Torch. That's why I never felt like we had Johnny. That's an arc. This movie does that arc. I think if we keep letting masculinity have toxic in parentheses in front of it at all times, the kids that feel isolated and alone have no one to look to. These boys and these young men and these grown men don't get to see how to grow up and get better. We need role models that aren't pushing Porsches and Wall Street hedge bets and women as objects and all these things in our movies. And if we got to start with a Predator being someone that looks to support systems and caring about others, it's a hell of a weird swing, but it really worked for me. So I think masculinity needs to be multifaceted, and I think sometimes it needs to be messy and problematic and then grow into good. And that's what this movie did. And that's brilliant with a Predator character. So I really love this film. Pro-nature, anti-corporation. Actual alpha, not this alpha that's been, developed in the last 20 years of the fall of civilization, society, and what words mean. Community and sensitivity to belonging, anti-isolationist, generational trauma, mother and father, siblings as supportive versus one doing the mission of the parent. I loved all these dynamics. I think that's incredible. This movie had all of this and more in it while being a great action movie, while being a sweeping fantasy epic, while being an adventure film, while telling a Predator story that I'd never seen before, while growing out the world, while being a great Weyland Yutani film, while being a great synth film, while being funny and charming, but also just full of truths, and I dug it. So that was my spoiler review. Those were the things I couldn't say in my non-spoiler review. Hope you enjoyed this different type of video, a little bit more structure. Much love to Elle Fanning for the comedy. Much love to Dan Trachtenberg for writing, producing, directing the hell out of this, giving me a lone wolf and cub story, literally with visuals at times that I never thought I'd get, with a Predator and a synth, tying those worlds I love together so well, and bringing Alien and Predator to a whole new world and level. I want so much more in this universe. I'm so stoked this is hopefully killing it at the box office this weekend, but like the fact that this is this good and has this many layers in it makes me so happy. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this review. Let me know what you thought of Predator Badlands. Let me know, are you excited for more in this world? Let me know. I also kind of dig that Alien Earth is like 80% heady intellectualism with some action, and it's all very thought-provoking and capable. And this is kind of the inverse, where it's 80% action, 20% dialogue, but both of them are telling much bigger stories than the sum of their parts necessarily. And I think that's really wonderful between everything that's going on with 20th Century Studios, between Alien Romulus, Prey, and Predator Badlands. We're in such a beautiful spot. So I'm just so happy with all of this 80s stuff coming to a new era. Now that the people that grew up watching it are the suits and are the creators, we're in a really wonderful place. So love all of that. Again, please leave a comment below. I want to keep talking about this, but I got to wrap this video up. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of Predator Badlands. Leave a like in this video. Let me know if you like this new, slightly more formatted format. And most of all, if you're not subscribed already, you stayed to the end of this video. Subscribe. I really appreciate it. All right. Art, movies, they're important. Culture, community, important. Let's have a little community here on this page. Let's talk. All right. Appreciate you guys. Bye.